Hello guys, welcome to Code Pravah. Today we are going to create a small game that is Tic Tac Toe in React.js. So let's get started. So I'm just using the code sandbox to create it online and I'm creating a React sandbox. Let's name it Tic Tac Toe and we can start. So our React sandbox has been created and we have our useful files here. As you can see, we have app.js to start with components and style.css for the styles. So I'm going to start with the app.js. I'll just do a small cleanup and I'll rename it to tic-tac-toe and I'll remove the h2 tag from here. In the source directory, I'll create another folder named with components. Now inside the components folder, I'm going to create a component that is board.jsx. Board will be basically handling the board activity of the tic-tac-toe. So I'll just name it as board. And for now, it will be just returning a h2 tag with the name board. And I'll just export it. Let's import it into the app and let's render it here. So we'll see we are getting the board. Now we can start our work into the board. So the first thing we want to create a board. As you know, in a tic-tac-toe, the board looks something like this. So we'll be just creating a board like this. So on this board, there are 9 boxes where we can write 0 or X during the game. So I'll create another component that is box.jsx. I'll import box here into the board because we need that here. Okay. And now we can start with the basic designing of the board. So what I'll do, I'll just remove this temporary board from here. I'll put a div here and let's give it a class name as board container. Inside this container, I'll have another div. Let's give it a class name of board. So inside this board, I'll be rendering my boxes. So as you know, I need 9 boxes. Okay, so I have 9 boxes out of here, but the box should be not looking like this. It should be a type of button where I can click to just write 0 or X. So let me create a button for this. Inside this button, I'll be rendering either 0 or X. For now, let's write 0 only. So as you can see, I am getting 9 boxes, but they are not well arranged. We will talk about that. For now, let's give a class name to the button that is box. Now let's go to some basic styling. So we have a board. So let's work on the board. So I'll give a height of 210 pixels and width of 210 pixels. Okay. But as I give the height and width, you see it came into the left part. So before working onto the board, let's work for the board container. I want the display to be flex. Okay. Then I want flex direction to be column. And then I will bring this into the center by putting align items into center and justify content to the center. Okay. Now let's continue our work onto the board. So in order to make the display as 3 boxes in a row, I'll use a template of grid. So I'll make the display as grid. Okay. And I want to display 3 boxes in a row. So I'll give grid template columns and I'll mention that I want 33.3% of a width for the first. Then I want another one into the same row. And then I want another one into the same row. So now you can see our board is looking a bit better than the previous one. Now we have to start work on the boxes because boxes are not looking well. As you know, our board is having a height and width of 210 pixel. So we can divide it by 3 and we can go with box height as 70 pixel. The width can be 70 pixel again. And the font I want around 28 pixel. Now it's looking better. I want to align the text always into center. So just keep it like this. Then I'm seeing the border is not looking well. Somewhere into the mid, if you see, it's a darker border, but on the edges, it's a light border. So for now, I'll say the border to be 1 pixel solid. And for each boxes, here if you see, there are 2 borders. The border of this box, bottom border, and for this box, the border of the top. So that's why it's being darker. So what I'll do, I'll remove all the top borders. So I can say border top is none. So if you see, it has been light. Same with this border. So I'll say border left is none. So now you can see it's lighter. One more thing, if you see the background color is not matching. So I'll just say background color should be white. Okay. Now it's not looking the perfect. There is another border coming here. We should remove it. So what I can say, either I'll select the boxes one by one, the boxes at like third place, sixth place, and ninth place box. I want to remove the right border. So I can simply do this by using the child selector. So I'll say nth child, and whatever the child divisible by 3, that is 3, 6, and 9, I want border right to be none. Okay. Similarly, if you see here, this is 7th, 8th, and ninth. I want to remove the border bottom for these three. So I can write box nth child, and I can say n plus 7, and I don't want border bottom. Okay, now it's perfect. Okay, now let's go back to board. So if you see, we are repeating the boxes again and again. So what we can do, we can use the state of React here, that is use state from React, and I can create a state naming it as board, and it will hold the data of this board. Like I'll create an array of 9 indexes. So I can say new array of the length 9, and I want to fill it with empty string. So I have a state having name of board, which is having a length of 9, and initially all the data are empty. So I can use board dot map, and I can access the item and index, and I'll return box from here, and I'll remove all these boxes. Now we are showing 0 as a hard coded value here, but I want to take the value from its parent. So I can take value, and I can render the value in this pan. Okay. And I have to pass the value from here. And if we pass 0 from here, we can see 0 here. If I pass x, I can see x over here. But I'll pass item that is stored into the board state. Also, to avoid the warnings of a key, so we will use index as a key here. Also, we will create another state to keep track of the chances, like the turn is for which player. So I'll write it as is x turn. It means we are saying every time the first player will be writing 0 because it's not the turn for the x. The last state we will declare is for setting the winner, and initially it will be an empty string because we don't have winner initially. So now whenever a user clicking on a box, we want to write something on it, that is x or 0. So I'll create a function player move which will receive an index as argument. So I have to check if there is already a winner. So if winner has been decided, I should not allow any player to move or to write on any boxes. So in that case, I'll show an alert saying that player, and I'll keep track of the winner here. Like this player has won. Please restart the game. Also, I'll return from here. I will not do anything into this function. There can be another case. Suppose some user has written some data over here that is X, and I am tapping on it. So it should not allow me to do that. So what I can do, I can check if board at this index is not empty. It means it is having some data, and into that case, I will simply return from the function. Now, now there are no further cases. I'll just copy the previous state from the board, and I'll change into previous state. Now, we have to decide, I have to write either x or 0 at this index. So we can decide that using this is x turn state. So if it is the turn of x, then we should write x. Otherwise, we should write 0. Simple. And then I'll set the board as previous state. At last, we will toggle the turns by saying that the x turn is not of is x turn. So the chances will be swapping. Now, on the click of the buttons, Suppose I'll receive on click function here, and whenever someone is clicking on this button, I'll invoke this on click. Okay. So with the value, I'll also pass the on click method, and on the click of this box, I'll call this function player move with the current index. Let's try this. So you can see the data is being written, but currently our game is not working because we have not written any logic to decide winner or when the game will be over. So let's look into that. But before that, I will just go for some styling and I'll change the color of 0 and X just to make it a little bit attractive. So I can give a dynamic style here. That color will be decided on the basis of value. If value is X, we will show the X into the blue. Otherwise, we will show the 0 into the red. Now let's see. Okay. So this is working. Now let's think about the logic. Okay. So I have written some indexes over here, and into the tic-tac-toe, the winner can be either if the same elements found into the row, either into the columns. There are 3 columns as well. It can also be into the diagonal wise. So there are 8 possibilities. So I'll create a winning combinations array, which will be a 2D array. So one combination can be if all the elements are same onto the indexes as 0, 1 and 2. So I'll note it 0, 1 and 2. The second combination can be all the elements are same into 3, 4 and 5. Similarly for 6, 7, 8. Now the combinations will go column wise 0, 3 and 6, then 1, 4 and 7, then 2, 5 and 8. Let's go diagonal wise 0, 4 and 8, and the last combination can be 2, 4 and 6. So let's import use effect, and I'll write a use effect here, which will be having a dependency onto the board. So whenever there will be change into the board state, this callback will be running. So I'll be looping over these winning combinations, and I'll check if any of these combinations has been satisfied or not. So what I can do, I'll loop over this winning combination. Now, for a winning combination I, that is, it will be representing these inner arrays which are having 3 elements. So we will use array destructuring here just to get the indices, that is A, B and C. Then we will check the elements at indices A, B and C, and if they are same, there is a winner and game has been over. So let's check that. We will first check if board A is not empty, because there can be a scenario where all the elements are empty. Element at A is same as element at B, and the element at A is also equal to element at C. So in this scenario, the winner will be sitting at board A. It means either X or 0. Now I have to display the winner. So I'll create another div over here. So if winner is there, I'll create a S3 tag. So if winner is there, I'll write winner is, and I can access the winner into the winner state. And I'll change the color of it, and I'll say if winner is X, I'll write it into the blue color. Otherwise, I'll show into the red. But if the winner has not been declared, I'll show the move of the player, like the turn is for which player. So I'll show like this player, and I can access it like is X turn, then it's X turn, otherwise it's 0th turn. So let's try it. So I'm getting a winner at 0. And if I try to write on some empty boxes, I'm getting an alert that player 0 has won. Please restart the game. In order to restart, I should have a button. So let's add a button over here. So I'll just add a class name of footer. Inside this footer, I'll be having a button. Let's name it restart. And on click of it, I'll call a function that is on restart. Let's declare this function. In the case of restart, we will set the board to the new array of length of 9, and I'll fill it with empty strings as we were doing initially. Also, we will set the winner to the empty string, and we will set the is extern to the false as the initial states. Now we have to style this button. So let's go to style.css. So let's write for the footer container first, and I can just give a margin top, and I want around 40 pixels. Then let's write for the button. I want the height of button to be around 40 pixels, then width of around 80 pixel. I want border radius to be 10 pixel, and I want border 1 pixel solid. So it's better right now. So let's try the restart function, and you can see it's working. It's resetting the whole board as we wanted. And you should try, it should be working into the every scenario. I guess we are completed with this mini project. If you really like this video, please let me know into the comment section. And if you really want these type of mini projects into the videos, please let me know into the comments as well. Please subscribe the channel if you want more videos like this, and thanks for watching.